Well, secondary schools face a staggered return after Christmas because of those rising cases. The Education Secretary announced it earlier, much to the surprise of head teachers. Let's not forget that earlier in the week, the government threatened legal action against schools in two London boroughs who wanted to close for Christmas early because of rising cases. The move announced today is to allow time to set up COVID testing schemes. Well, joining us now is Evelyn Forde, head of Copthall School in Mill Hill, and Omar Daria, head of the Cumberland School, which is in Plaistow. Thank you both for talking to us this evening. And Omar, I believe that you found out this news by watching it on the news.
Yeah, I mean, this was, quite surprising to a lot of people. And, the first time we heard of this was on the news today. But, it doesn't mean that we are not ready and we are not prepared for, things like this. So before we broke up this week, we've been preparing for all eventualities.
And do you feel as though your pupils are ready and able to do that remote learning for that week in January when they should be in your classrooms?
For us as a school and as a trust, remote learning, has been one of the success stories of, this difficult period of time. During the first lockdown, we've had around about 90% of our students who were accessing remote learning. So for us, remote learning hasn't been an issue, but I know there's other schools, across the country who will be finding this challenging.
Now, Evelyn, I believe your school breaks up tomorrow, so not a lot of time to prepare what needs to be done in terms of that extra week, in terms of the kids being at home in January.
Yeah, I just think it's really, really short notice. And, some schools actually broke up yesterday. We're breaking up tomorrow. But, we just feel as if, the media are getting the information before school and college leaders. So what you've got right now are frustrated and tired and actually angry, school and college leaders as we find the news breaking to the media before it's actually broken to us. So whilst I don't disagree with Omar in terms of, having blended learning in place, there is an enormous amount of work that we're going to have to do ready for that first week back in January.
I mean, this has got to be hard for a lot of your girls, even because there just seems to be a lot of toing and froing, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of things cancelled. How can you deal with that with just a day's notice in terms of yet another change for them?
Yeah, well, the reality from my perspective, and I think for many heads as well, we're taking one day at a time. For us here at Copthall, we're very much about making sure that the girls have a very nice last day tomorrow, really making sure that we send them off, checking in on their well-being, really making sure that they have a rest. And I'm committed to the fact that my staff actually need a rest. And teachers actually, we need a rest as well. So we will be preparing, we will be working over the holidays, which is a bit contradictory to what the DfE had said previously, in that they wanted head teachers to rest over the Christmas break. But that's actually going to be a little bit challenging for us if we're expected to have mass testing in place by the second week.
Well, we had a statement in from the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, who said, I've been calling for this to help get the virus under control instead of making mass testing safer for teachers and for parents. It's a decision that should have been made well before now. It's vital that the government ensures that schools have the resources they need and that widespread and regular testing is in place as soon as possible so that disruption to our children's education is kept to an absolute minimum. Omar, in terms of pastoral care for both students and for teachers, as well as Evelyn has just said, this isn't an easy time for anyone, is it?
It's definitely not, and I can echo with what my colleague is saying here. It's been very, very difficult for all schools. I mean, for us, one of the things that we have been doing is supporting our vulnerable students during the lockdown. And also during schools. And there are a lot of vulnerable kids out there who, this will be very, very difficult for. And my heart goes out to those vulnerable students and their parents, and also for the teachers who have been
Yeah.
working incredibly hard during this very, very difficult time. There's a lot of unsung heroes out there,
Yeah.
and I would like to commend the hard work that they've been putting in. It's been very difficult, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a very difficult year all round.
I think it's been such a hard few months for so many of you, and good luck come January in terms of those practicalities. So both Omar and Evelyn, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, let's remind ourselves of exactly what being in Tier 3 means for those millions more across the South East who have now